All right, so
And Raw.
we'll do the pay-per-view tomorrow.
Yeah.
By the way, I can record at like 3:00 tomorrow. I'm going back to Atlanta, and my flight lands at like 3:15, so I'll be home about 4:15. So, which is 1:15 Vegas West Coast time.
What date was Raw?
The 28th.
Yeah, the 28th.
Okay, that's the one.
Okay, so Raw opened. They showed the Bloodline winning the War Games match. So Becky makes her entrance. She got a good pop. She said it felt good to be back, and then welcome viewers to Raw. And she missed the fans. Lynch said something didn't feel right. She said the man that people should be with the people. And Lynch left the ring and entered the crowd where she high-fived members of fans while they chant her name. Lynch spotted a man in a yellow X-Men sweatshirt. She said yellow is her color and found out the man's name was Bobby. Fans started chanting Bobby. Lynch spoke with another fan named Zachary, told him she's ready to go through hell and put her body on the line. And Lynch said during the time she's been gone, the industry has changed and a lot of new faces come in and a lot of familiar faces come back. Lynch said she can't wait to slap the hell out of all of them. That was a good line. Bayley's entry music interrupted Lynch, who groaned, and Bayley headed to the ring and said it seemed Lynch was humbled based on how she was mingling with the peasants. But then she went on and on. A Becky chant interrupted Bayley, who complained that she's received no respect for everything she's done for the last 4 months. Don't you dare call Bob a peasant, Lynch said, and Bayley told Bob that he sucks. Lynch said Bob doesn't suck, and Lynch said Bayley has been losing and then called her a loser. Lynch said she could go to the ring and they could fight, and Lynch headed down the steps to go to the ring, but Dakota Kai and Io Sky showed up and fought with her. Bayley joined in the attack, and they fought into the concourse area where the heels threw Lynch over a merchandise table, and Lynch stood up and turned the table over, then threw a bunch of merch items at the damage control trio. Lynch threw Bayley onto the main merch table, and the display fell on top of her, and Lynch was getting the better of the three heels when a group of security guards and referees showed up to pull the wrestlers apart. I'm not sure. Maybe they're going to phase out the code this faction, because I don't like the visual of Becky beating up all three of them. I don't know what they're trying to do here with that. What do you think?
What do you think, Joe?
I didn't see Raw. I only saw Survivor Series, so yeah. I didn't see Raw yet. Yeah,
it'd be nice if you did.
Yeah, I know I'm behind.
Actually, Conan's behind because you skipped a show. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I just got to see the pay-per-view, bro.
Yeah.
Right.
I've been sick. So this is what I thought. First of all, I thought that Becky is the best talker they have, to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I did not like this promo. I thought she was very, very, very cheesy. That going into the thing and talking to Bob and talking to Zach. And then, bro, they're grown men jumping up and down and saying her catch lines. And I was like, this is not a good look. You know, you want to have a cool out there. But anyways, it was very cheesy. Bayley came out to cheap heat, which Bayley's probably the only other interesting person in here in this thing. And then, of course, Tumbleweeds Crickets came out, which was Dakota Sky and the Japanese chick, who are unentertaining, aren't good on the mic. They suck up a lot of TV time. They put the titles on them. They put them in a million segments, and they're still not over, bro. That's a failed experiment. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Okay, that's what I have to say about the first segment.
Okay, so next we go Rhea Ripley against Mia Yim.
Right.
And this is 7 minutes. You know, Mia Yim's a pretty good worker. I mean, she's like I think she's pretty solid as a worker.
Right.
Like her offense looks pretty good. She's a decent size.
Right.
She doesn't look dwarfed by Rhea here, but basically Dom comes out. He stood on the ropes and spoke to Yim, who ended up pulling him inside the ring, and then Yim backed Dom into a corner, and Ripley attacked him from behind, and AJ Styles ran out and attacked Dom for the apparent no count-out finish. So then Priest, Ballos, Ganderson, they all ran out and joined the fight, and they cleared them from the ring, and Judgment Day started head to the back, but Styles got a mic and asked them where they were going. Said he thought it was over Survivor Series, but he was wrong. Styles said it would end tonight, and challenged him to a 4-on-4 match and called for a referee. And then they go to the match. Does Dominic listen to this show?
Yep.
Okay, he's showing pretty good personality out there, like in between the moves.
Right.
But Dominic, when you're doing it, do not play to the crowd. Turn around and play to the red light in the camera. Okay, because your audience is the 1.8 million people, not the 6,000 people in the crowd. So you gotta you're doing a lot of stuff. You're doing the Eddie Guerrero stuff, but own your presence in there and get the hard camera shot when you do stuff like that. All right. But I do like Dominic that he's throwing really good punches now. Have you noticed that when he gets a guy on the ground, he punches him. He looks pretty vicious.
Yeah.
You know. So basically, Gallows, Anderson, Priest, and Dom entered the ring and fought. Styles for Priest down with a phenomenal form, and Balor cleared Styles in the ring, but then Yim body slammed Balor and then went after Dom, but Ripley returned and hit the Riptide on Yim before pinning her. So, but they had Mia Yim body slam Balor and like got a hold of Dom, but then Rhea Ripley came in there. So I don't know where that's leading to, but they're letting some of these girls look really strong, which I'm not sure is the best idea. Because if they're like, if a couple of these girls are beating on the men, it's like, what are you going to do when like Mia Yim wrestles Io Sky? You know, she should just squash her, right?
Yeah, she destroy her.
Yeah, right. So I'm not too big of a fan of that, to be honest with you. So, but what did you think?
Well, the first time I saw Mia Yim, I was just getting the Impact, and she was leaving.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw her work there, and I was like, oh, she's pretty good. And then I saw in WWE and NXT. And I was like, her work is good, and it is. The only problem is when you have Rhea Ripley, who looks like a megastar, like a Jade Cargill, like what's that girl from NWA?
Camille
Brickhouse. That, bro, they just look like somebody, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mia Yim, looks like one of those Japanese schoolgirls with the little Pokemon and the.
I disagree. I disagree.
Okay, well,
with
that's
that.
what I see. Okay,
really, because bro, when I think of those schoolgirls, I think of the little girls on AEW that are like 90 pounds. This girl's not 90
she's
pounds.
not that small, right? She's
Right.
not that small.
Right.
But okay, my point, bro. What do you think? Only 90-pound girls dress up as nerds? Girls her weight do too. So she comes off as a nerd, a geek, a chick I wouldn't be hanging out with. Okay. Against a girl that I would hang out with, I would hang out with Rhonda Ripley or whatever.
Rhea Ripley.
Rhea Ripley.
Yeah.
I would hang out with the tatted up on the leg, big, cool accent looking, and so she doesn't look physical enough to be a threat to her. Okay. Her work is good, but I just think Rhea Ripley's leagues above her in work and in look. That's my problem.
Okay. I'm not going to argue with that, but I think you're minimizing Mia Yim too much, to be honest with you.
Okay, well, that's what I feel.
So the footage here from earlier today, the Street Profits being welcomed back by Byron Saxon. They were interrupted by Chad Gable, and Otis, and I guess they're going to have a match. This stuff did not make it to Hulu, by the way.
Well, it was good to see them back. The Dawson has lost a lot of weight, and they're very easy to listen to. They're not shucking and jiving and doing stupid like they used to.
So Dawson lost a lot of weight, huh?
A lot of weight.
All right, let me give you a situation that mirrors that. Okay, remember at Impact when Bubba was starting to get a push,
right?
And he was doing the bully gimmick, and he was getting in good shape, right? And what's his name? His partner Devon was still kind of overweight.
Right.
And it's like you could see them starting to start pushing Bubba as a singles, and Devon was going to be taking a back seat.
Right.
And Devon probably looked at this and said, hey, I got to start getting in shape too. And he went out and got in shape. Exact same situation here with Montez Ford and Angela Parker. Okay. Because Montez, everybody was talking about Montez. He's going to be the singles guy. He's going to get a push and everything. And this guy probably sat there and looked and like I got to get in shape.
Right.
And that's probably what happened here. Like when you have competition and like you're a tag team partner and your partner's starting to get over more than you, that should drive you to better yourself, which is what happened here apparently. So the Bloodline comes in the ring. Bloodline is now in your city, Jimmy said. Jimmy had his fingers tasted, spoke about how it was one of the toughest matches they've been through. And Jimmy boasted there are no cracks in the Bloodline. Jimmy said Kevin Owens is mad because Zayn isn't his dog. And Zayn said Jimmy's been on his side all along and has been down since day one. Zayn told Jay the last 6 months haven't been easy and Jay didn't trust him or like him. And Jay said the way Jay accepted him after the War Games match was oozy. Zayn said he hopes that he and Jay will be on the same page going forward. And Zayn stuck his hand out. Jay looked at him and slapped his hand and hugged him. Then Jimmy joined in the group hug, and this is pretty funny. So Solo is just sitting there with his arms crossed like he always does. He's expressionless and stuff and everything. So they were trying to invite him into the hug. And he was kind of it looked like maybe he might go hug him. And then Owens' music hits. So he comes out with a mic in his hand and Zayn told Owens to stop before he did something stupid. And Owens said that that wasn't why he was out there. Owens said he was there to tell Zayn he gets it. Owens mentioned that he did the same to Zayn many times over the years and can't blame him one bit. Owen said he wasn't there to fight Zayn. He said that their careers have been linked for 20 years, and Owen said that he doesn't want to fight or team with Zayn or ride to shows with him. I'm just done. I don't want anything to do with you, Owen said. And Zayn told Owens that he feels the same way and said he's okay if they're never in the same room again. I don't need you anymore, Zayn told Owens. I have family now. And Owen said he's genuinely happy for Zayn because everyone can finally see how great he is. Owen said he loves that Zayn is finally getting the recognition he deserves. And Owen said the only thing is that Zayn isn't their real blood and never will be. Then Jay interrupted and told Zayn not to worry about Owens. And Jay said Owens just mad because he didn't have a family around him. Jay said that if Owens has a problem with Zayn, then he's a problem with him. And Owens said he had good news. Owens recalled saying he was done with Zayn, but he said he never was done with Jay. And Owens challenged Jay to face him later in the show. And he said he pinned him in War Games and would pin him on Raw. So what do you think of this?
Want me to tell you, because you brought Bubba Dudley up, right? About his weight and all that.
Right.
I'm going to tell you a Bubba story. So when we were in ECW, me and him had a big problem because they were going to put me in a match against either Stone Cold or Cactus Jack.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Well, when I was there, Austin was there as Stunning Steve
Oh,
Austin.
you're talking about WWE. I thought you were talking about Impact.
No,
okay.
No, ECW.
ECW.
Oh, ECW. Okay.
Yeah. And Cactus Jack was there. I think Cactus Jack.
Yeah.
So my next program was going to be with one of them too. I think it was Cactus. And so they did this thing to try to put me strong because when I first got there, I got booed really bad. And so Paulie, he wanted to have people believe in me. So we were doing this angle and he had this thing where all the wrestlers came out of the ring and I was picking everybody off. But Bubba wasn't selling for me. And then I did it again and he wasn't selling for me. And I was like, who's this? I've never heard of him in my life. And people were like, oh, he's green, don't pay attention. And I never liked him because of that. And so then we never really clicked either. So I saw him I see him like 10 years later in Impact.
Yeah.
Bro, and they come in and they have a match and they literally, and you would have loved this, old school style squashed and beat the shit out of these jobbers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they didn't give them anything. And I was like, dude, we don't work like that around here. So you need to chill out with that shit. And he was like, oh, okay. And so, he just tried to take it easy. And then somebody had heat and I forgot who it was. And I remember that Jarrett told me, hey, can you give this guy an attitude check? And I was like, yeah, I'll be happy to. And I went and I told Bubba Ray, I go, tonight, you have that guy over there, eat him up. He goes, I thought you said you didn't work like that here. And I said, there's exceptions to every rule. Bro, he went in there, Disco, and he almost killed this guy, okay? And me and him would get on the mic, and I would talk about his weight, and he would talk about me. And then all of a sudden, I left. And when I looked, he was heading to Aces and Eights. And he was in really good shape, and his promos were great.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, wow, this guy's turning into a star. And he did.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Hell of a deal. Candice LeRae was walking backstage, and Kathy Kelly approached her and asked her about facing Dakota Kai.
Right.
She was flustered, but then took the mic and said she wanted to reintroduce herself to Damage Control. So whatever. I mean, this didn't make it to Hulu, obviously not.
You missed absolutely nothing. I've already said it enough time. Dakota and the other one, they got the personality of Mike Pence and Melania Trump. None.
So backstage, Byron Saxon interviewed Matt Riddle and Elias, and Riddle asked Elias if you remember when they won a tag match, and Elias said yes because it was just last week. Then Riddle asked Elias about going after the tag titles, and he's never had tag team gold. Then the Usos and Zayn and Solo showed up and said Elias will because they're the ones. Elias told them to put their money where their mouths are, and the Usos said anytime, any place, and Sikoa stared down Elias before he joined the other Bloodline members and walking away.
This was really good.
Mm-hmm.
The only bad part is Riddle, who's one of my favorite wrestlers, comes off now as a complete J-Bro. They give him the worst lines. He used to have funny lines. They give him, and now he closes his eyes because he's high all the time. His shtick is bad. And Elias, who we both used to love, is stale as, I mean, he's dead. This team makes no sense. They have no chemistry. Elias, they need to get away from him or repackage him. And Riddle's got heat with somebody there.
You know what else it could be? I think they wanted to continue Riddle and Randy and maybe, have one turn on the other. and they lost Randy. So they're probably trying to find a new spot for Riddle, and he's kind of floundering because of that. I mean, that's just a guess, but
that's
what I would
fault.
think.
Everybody should be over.
Yeah.
Theory makes his entrance from in-ring promo and says, "Who's a kid now?" Theory asks. He claimed the fans said he had the worst Money in the Bank cash-in attempt of all time, and he said he never wanted to be called a kid again after beating Seth Rollins and Bobby Lashley at the same time, becoming a 2-time U.S. champion. Theory said no, he's no longer the next big bat. He said he's arrived and is the now and forever. Theory claimed to be the face of Raw and said people have had a problem with him since the day he arrived and chalked up to jealousy. Theory said everyone wants to be him, and Theory said he's younger, stronger, better, and unescapable. The Austin Theory era begins now, proclaimed Theory. Seth Rollins made his entrance and wearing a see-through outfit that might have made the late Prince blush. Is about the best way to describe that.
Yes, for sure.
Rollins entered the ring
great.
and went face-to-face with Theory. "Shut your mouth and let them sing," Rollins said. And the fans chanted Rollins' entrance song. Theory asked what happens when someone so young, talented, and so far ahead of everyone in the industry makes a so-called undisputed future look like the past. Rollins said Theory may have lucked his way into the U.S. Championship, but it doesn't change anything. "You know deep down in your soul that Monday Night belongs to me," Rollins said. "Before I go, I only have one thing to say to you. Congratulations, kid." Rollins asked if Theory wanted to hit him or fight him, and Rollins said they could do it on the spot and cut a pretty good fiery promo here. So "Give me your best shot, kid," and said he would fight Rollins on the champ's time. Then Theory put the mic at his side and then told Rollins, "I'm not your damn kid." And Rollins laughed, and then Theory left the ring to some – see, the kid's gotten good heat, by the way. And he got to the stage, he turned and looked back at Rollins. This was a good I like this. What'd you think?
Yeah, I thought this was great. They're finally doing something good with Austin, who we both said from the beginning is a lot of potential. I'd like to say that what Seth Rollins was wearing, okay, I'm pretty sure Jimmy Jacobs lent it to him.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah, interesting.
That was outstanding, by the way.
Yeah.
I loved everything about that. But anyways, Seth was great on the mic. Austin was great on the mic. Austin's getting a push, which I'm glad. This was a good segment.
Backstage, The Miz was interviewed by Saxon, and Miz had a bag filled with money. He had his hand taped and said the match wouldn't happen because he's injured his hand again. Adam Pearce showed up and said he wasn't buying Miz's injury claim, and the match with Lumis would take place later in the show. The Miz told Pearce he would be hearing from his lawyer. Then Dexter makes his entrance, and the Miz came out and teased going backstage, but Adam came out and ordered him the ring, and the Miz turned toward the ring. Pearce took his bag of money and walked to ringside. They basically have the match. Lumis goes over, and he gets a contract, and he gets the bag of money at the end. It's about the best way I could describe this.
Okay, what do you think of this?
I'm not. I fast forwarded through a lot of this because I think this storyline is kind of silly.
Right, right. It started off good, and it ended up really bad. And Adam Pearce, who's a good friend of mine, I thought he did good in his role. But this, I lost interest in this about a month ago.
Right. So then after the match, Pearce handed Lumis a bag of cash, and Pearce was handing out individual bills to kids as he walked to the back. And he gave one kid a $100 bill, and then the Miz hit Lumis from behind and grabbed the bag and took back the $100 bill.
Yeah, that's great.
Then Gargano came out and super kicked Miz, and Gargano picked the bag and the $100 bill and gave the $100 bill back to the kid, and then handed Lumis the bag, and Lumis gave Gargano a thumbs up, and then Gargano returned the favor.
Yeah, I don't think Gargano's funny at all.
No, but that I thought that spot was kind of
Yeah, that was funny.
This angle is silly. That was a good conclusion to the angle, I thought.
Yeah.
Dakota Kai and Candice LeRae did not make it to Hulu, and it took 14 minutes of time on this show for this. What happened here? I didn't see this. Anything of note?
This was Candice LeRae against
Dakota Kai.
Dakota Kai. The match was good because they're both good workers. They're boring. They don't work the crowd. They don't. It was a cold match, really. Bro, her nickname is the Poison Pixie. How tall could that be? Okay.
Poison Pixie?
Right. You know what?
Why don't they just call her the Fairy or something?
Right. Exactly. Anyways, Candice won the match, and I'm not into any of these girls.
Yeah. So backstage, Kelly interviewed Bianca Belair, Asuka, and Alexa Bliss on the ring set. And Belair said she's been a lot better physically and pointed to a small wrap around her elbow. Belair said she held down the division despite Damage Control's attempt to take it over. She says she's happy with the team she chose because they were able to end it at War Games. And Asuka spoke excitedly in Japanese. Then Bliss was expressionless throughout the segment. And Kelly asked if she had anything to add. And Bliss faked a smile and said Belair was right. But
Joe, look.
Yo. That's creepy. I don't know how that keeps happening. But that's very creepy.
What the going on over there, dude?
With what?
With you.
That damn doll keeps showing up.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Lily, she's right
in front of you.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Right to your right.
If you're gonna act dumb, I like
Practically on your shoulder.
I have no idea.
All right. Continue.
Okay. Kelly asked if she had anything to add, and Bliss faked a smile and said Belair was right. Adding Lynch to the team was a good call.
Like I said, I'm not interested in any of these girls except for Ripley and Bailey. That's it. I'm not interested in it.
Yeah. So Kevin Owens against Jey Uso, 21 minutes, and I guess what could best be described as a super kick match. I don't know how many super kicks does these guys do in this match? I mean, a lot.
15, over 15
I mean,
sure.
well, there's tons, right?
Yeah.
So,
Thank God this was the main event and not the one before it.
right. Jay went for a top rope splash and rolled through, but Owens avoided, and Owens kicked Jay and dropped him with a stunner and pinned him. And then basically just he got the win back here. So,
yeah.
But 21 minutes, good match, but I'm just I don't know why they had to do it with that many super kicks. So I'm not a big fan.
Great
of that,
match.
So, yeah.
Great match. Owens always brings it in. Usos are underrated. He's been great here. Jimmy's been great. The way Jay whipped Owens to the corner, the way KO sold it, the way that Owens sold the super kick after failing to hit a pop-up power bomb was great. This was a great match.
Yeah.
These guys have good chemistry.
I did see this. Yeah, it was very good. And I saw the opening promo that he was in too, Owens.
Yeah, this was good and great way to end the show.
Mm-hmm.
What was the rating?
It wasn't that good.
Yeah, it was like normal. Let me see.
Because I remember Thurston Howell didn't have him, or whoever you get it from.
Thurston Howell. 1.668 million, up slightly from last week.
What was SmackDown?
SmackDown was 2.166 million, down 3% from the previous week. Lowest audience since November 4th, it says.
What was Dynamite?
Dynamite was 880,000.
So was that a little bit up, right?
Let me see what it says about the previous week. Yeah, 880,000 was up from 818 the week before.